What the heck is happening with the U.S. presidential elections?
People in Taiwan are really concerned about the U.S. elections. I am Natalie Tso.
And I'm Andrew Ryan. Let's start with a look at the stories on our radar.
President Tsai Ing-wen says that Taiwan will continue to boost its ties with the U.S. no matter who wins the U.S. presidential election. She was speaking Wednesday evening as the vote count in a number of U.S. battleground states was still underway. The military is continuing to hold routine exercises this week in light of continued Chinese incursions near Taiwan. Elementary schools are using the exercises as an opportunity to have children show support for the nation's military. A renowned Taiwanese performing arts troupe, Ju Percussion, is planning to celebrate the 35th anniversary of its founding next year with a revival of its 2019 production, A Tale of Clay, the story of one community's revitalization. A record 1,600 people have signed up to take part in this year's Da Pong Bay Ironman event in southern Taiwan. The event is scheduled for December 5th and 6th. Despite the global pandemic and border closures, participants will include Taiwan residents from 23 countries and territories. That will make it the most international pool of competitors the event has ever seen.
Now, people here in Taiwan are actually very concerned about the U.S. elections. And in fact, on election return night, it was actually morning here in Taiwan, we both went to watch parties to get a feel for what was happening.
Yeah, that's right. And we both asked Taiwanese what they're concerned about regarding the U.S. elections.
I think it's very crucial for Taiwan, especially. I don't hope there's a chaos after the election because it's about Taiwan's national security.
What I really cared is the security and economic interest of Taiwan. Like who's gonna benefit more beneficial to us?
关心是那个经济的问题，还有两岸和平的问题。
那如果这一次的美国大选，它开始因为这些制度上大家的不信任也好，不服从也好，导致不管是经济社会上的动荡，那会变成是给这些集权国家很大的一个 excuse 它可以告诉你说，民主不见得好。
I'm worried about Trump winning because I feel like even though he promised that he's going to protect Taiwan, he's just lying, and he's probably anytime he's just going to sell us out to China. That's what I'm most worried about.
Now, people have the impression that a lot of Taiwanese favor Trump, especially since there was a recent survey showing that Taiwan is the only country out of 8 in Asia where more people favor Trump than Biden.
That was very interesting, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Now, the president and the foreign minister have both come out this week to reassure people about US-Taiwan ties.
Trump or Biden, Biden or Trump. People in Taiwan seem to be under the impression that Trump is better for Taiwan-U.S. ties. That's because right now, relations with the United States are better than they were 40 years ago. Arms sales and high-level visits are just a few of the milestones reached during Trump's presidency. So if Joe Biden and the Democrats take the White House, that spells trouble for Taiwan, right? Taiwan's Foreign Minister Joseph Wu doesn't think so. He says the impression that a Trump presidency is better for Taiwan is erroneous. The foreign minister says that over the past few decades, Taiwan's government has had equal exchanges with both of the United States' major political parties, and Taiwan-U.S. relations will continue to grow no matter who's in charge. Wu points out that Taiwan garners bipartisan support in the U.S. Congress. Recently, he says, U.S. legislation concerning Taiwan always passes with little or no opposition. To Wu, that means both parties clearly support Taiwan.
Now, we are both Americans.
That's right.
We both voted in this
That's
election.
right.
What was your experience?
Well, it was interesting. It was the first time I ever faxed my vote.
You faxed it?
Yeah, so everyone could see I'm transparent.
That's so old school.
I thought it would get there in time. That's why I did it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And then I realized my son can vote. So
Really?
I tried to get him to register in a few different ways. I didn't know if it was going to work out, and we didn't get any response. And then we got the ballot about a week ago.
Ooh.
In the mail.
Okay.
In this long Taiwanese address where we live. And I'm like, wow, it came in. So like, you got to fill it out. We'll express it the next day. So 2 of us voted in my household.
And your son was a first-time voter.
That's right.
That's very exciting.
Right. He's 18.
So I voted in Missouri. And I actually emailed my vote
Oh, wow.
for the first time.
That's cool. That's very convenient.
Yes, and I think everybody also knows who I voted for because I emailed it as well. And they actually confirmed that they'd received the email and that everything was okay within a day or two after I sent it.
Oh,
so
that's great.
Super fast, super efficient. Now, you might be curious to know how many people, how many Americans there are abroad who are eligible to vote like we are.
Actually, the number is 3 million. 7% of them voted in the last presidential election in 2016.
But actually about 59% voted in the general election within the United States. So that's actually a huge difference. Just
Right.
7% from overseas, 59%, 60% from inside the United States. And why did people not vote from overseas?
Well, over 30% had trouble either registering or getting their ballot, and 26% didn't get their ballot in time. You have to figure in the mailing, time.
Yeah.
So, which is also an issue in this election.
Absolutely.
So-
Maybe even more of an issue because of, the postal system not being up to speed and the pandemic and everything. Now, we were really curious to know what Americans think about this election and whether or not their voting choices are different because they live in Taiwan. So we talked to some people. Here's what they had to say.
I think being in Taiwan has made me realize how, the USA has this front of being the savior of the world, but we're really the people who are causing all the issues. We're the instigators,
So, did being in Taiwan affect the way you voted this year?
I would say slightly, yes, especially this year, because the tension between US, Taiwan, and China. I love Taiwan as well. I wish the next president can be tougher on China. However, not to create too much tension between US, China, and Taiwan in case it causes war.
I think being in Taiwan because you're more removed, I had more headspace to be I feel like neither of these candidates really align with my values, and so I'm not going to give a vote to either of them. But it was strategic because I am registered in California and they are definitely voting blue. So I was okay, it's gonna be okay even if I don't. But I feel like if I was in the US, I would be much more invested, and I definitely would have voted.
Did I vote differently for a presidential candidate because I've been living in Taiwan? I personally don't think so, but that's because I was very solidified in my beliefs before I left the United States.
So, Andrew, did being in Taiwan affect the way you vote?
I don't think so. I think I probably would have voted for the same person regardless of where I lived in the world. But I will say that being overseas does give us a unique perspective about America's position in the world. So
That's true.
That's something I'm concerned about.
Right.
What about you?
Well, no, it didn't affect. I think in terms of American interests when I vote for the American president rather than Taiwan interests. But of course, we are concerned about the foreign policy. But I still voted for the same person I would have voted for if I was in the U.S.
And you guys can all guess who we voted for. You can also join the conversation, leave a comment below. We have a great thread on Facebook where we're chatting about this as well. Up next, Hashtag Taiwan.
This week on Hashtag Taiwan, I want to talk to you about this GIF. Now, even though there's no sound, some people say they can hear an impact whenever the power tower slams back down on the ground. Rhyme time, y'all! Power tower, power tower, power tower, power tower, power tower! If you're one of the people that can make out the audio in this silent picture, then you're not alone. Research suggests that people have something called visual ears. Essentially, your brain just fills in the quiet parts of a picture with no sound. Now, social media in Taiwan caught on to this scientific oddity and made a trend of it. Introducing the hashtag 打一句有声音的句子 challenge. What does that mean? It translates into the hashtag Write a sentence with built-in audio challenge. Basically, it asks social media users to use nothing but words to evoke sounds in people. For example, the Radio Taiwan International Chinese Language Service wrote, 来自台湾之音 RTI. Why? Because this is what RTI's classic jingle sounds like. People familiar with the RTI call sign probably would have heard that in their heads when they read the post. So now that you got the gist of this trend, I'm going to share with you a few entries that I found interesting. A parenting Facebook page shared a few sentences that 7-year-old Leslie can hear said in his mother's stern voice, the most chilling of which is 我数到3, which means I'm gonna count to 3. Oh. Let's get political. The Ministry of Defense came up with this sentence that looks like a warning. If you recognize it, you probably hear it as a fighter pilot's voice over a walkie-talkie.
中华民国空军广播，位于台湾西南空域，高度7000公尺的中共军机注意，你已进入我 ADIZ， 影响我飞行安全，立即回来脱离。
Get it? Because China has been making so many incursions into Taiwanese airspace lately that people are getting used to hearing that line over and over again on the news. Here's a favorite of mine. Taipei City Councilman Wang Sijian poked fun at himself by posting the words, "over my dead body." Why? Because in 2014, Wang got famous for trying to block someone from entering the legislature. He said anyone getting past him would be doing so over my dead body, over my dead body, over my dead body. So just by reading the words over my dead body, a lot of people can hear him saying over my dead body. A majority of this challenge is song lyrics, sounds, popular phrases, and product slogans. You get the idea. But before I go, I'm gonna leave you with my entry into this challenge. It's gonna be on the screen right now. If those words evoke a sound in you, then we're good. If not, then you need to watch my show more. Like and subscribe!
I think we can all agree that 2020 has been a stressful year. We've had elections in Taiwan, in the United States, a pandemic. Well, today we're going to play a game that we are calling Who Needs a Hug?
We all do.
That's the correct answer. Game over. So I'm going to show Leslie and Natalie 5 pictures of hugs, and I want them to identify the huggers, the huggies, and why the hugging is going on.
Oh, how cute.
And we're going to do our best to describe the pictures for our listeners who are tuning in via radio from home. All right, you guys ready for the first picture?
All righty.
All right,
Let's try it.
Let's have a look at the first picture.
Looks like it's a baseball game. It's the Uni Lions, and they're at home plate. About 4 guys crowding the plate. 2 guys are about to embrace in a hug.
A big hug.
A big hug.
Maybe
They
3
won.
guys.
They won, right?
So what? Do you know what that is?
They won game 1 of the Taiwan series of the CPBL.
Excellent. I'm glad you got that.
Good.
Now, unfortunately
Baseball
for
fan.
the Lions, they are now down 3-1. Thursday night, I guess the brothers could have a chance at clinching the title. It's the best of 7.
It could be tonight. So
Could be tonight, and in which case we'll have to give the Lions another big hug. All right, let's move on to our next photo. So what do you see?
Oh, this looks like a hospital. There's a doctor in the background, and a man is hugging a woman in a yellow T-shirt.
Patient?
A patient?
Is she a patient of COVID-19 who's just recovered?
Yeah, very close. It's actually the man that is the patient.
Okay.
He's got his eyes blurred out to protect his identity. And you guessed correctly, he had COVID-19. He's actually a university student who had COVID and was in the hospital for 64 days before finally the doctors had a little party for his release.
Was he the longest case so far in Taiwan?
Might have been close to the longest, and that was his mom. So he was getting a hug coming out of the hospital.
That's wonderful.
All right, let's have a look at the next picture.
Oh, that is Lai Ching-te. That's Vice President.
That's correct.
Okay,
That's
just
right.
checking. I don't know who the guy
name.
who he's hugging though.
So it's 2 politicians, yeah? What do
Yeah.
you think is in the background?
That looks like him though. That looks like a picture of him on a podium, just blown up, talking. Is this
I can't make out the picture in the back.
So can you guess what kind of an
looks
event
like-
this might be?
a rally?
Yes.
Presidential rally? Is it for when he was campaigning for vice president?
Actually, the key is the person in the front. Can we look at the photo one more time? So who is that in the front there? Somebody who ran for office successfully this year for the second time. Same office, second time running for it. This
August.
is for mayor of Kaohsiung.
Oh, Chen Qimai! We can recognize that his
did not look like
profile.
him.
Yeah, I can
That did
tell.
not look like
Chen
him.
Qimai.
Wow.
So this was for a by-election, and this was in August.
Yeah.
And this was before the election took place. So I guess it was a hug for wishing him well.
Or congratulations.
Congratulating
or
him.
Yeah, he got
Finally.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things.
Yes. All right, let's have a look at the next picture.
At the Pride Parade.
There's
Okay,
a
so what do you
rainbow
see?
flag.
Yeah, rainbow flag. That gives you a good clue.
Two people are hugging in
A
the
guy and a girl.
left
Are
foreground.
they getting married, or did they get married this week or something?
We actually don't know if it's a man and a woman.
okay.
You guessed correctly. This is at the Pride Parade that happened last weekend. And it is two people hugging each other, a sign of support.
Just cause?
Okay.
Yeah.
Just cause hugs are some of the best.
Hugs are some of the best. We like hugs. Next photo.
Oh, there's a big panda hugging a baby panda.
It's a giant panda, man.
Yes,
I mean,
Yuan
that's
Zai
what
had
they're
a
called.
baby, second baby.
This is Yuan Yuan, the mother.
Oh my
Yuan
gosh.
Zai is the
That's
first
right.
daughter.
I was saying, Yuan Yuan. And,
And the baby's name is, oh man.
Yuan Bao.
Ro Ro and Yuan Bao, yes. So Ro Ro was the nickname, Yuan Bao was the final name
Okay,
that the
yeah,
people
I'm so
of
confused.
Taiwan chose for the baby panda. So
That was very cute. I mean, she's,
super cute.
really
Like,
cute.
how are
We'll be
you not
seeing her
gonna
this
love that?
Christmas, actually. She's coming out to see the world around Christmas time.
Oh, excellent.
Yes.
That's awesome. So we can actually
Yuan Bao.
go and visit not the hospital,
We
the
should do that.
zoo.
Let's do that.
See if we can do a special report. I think everybody needs more hugs. So that's our game for this week. Who needs a hug? I think we all do. And our final question today, since we've been thinking about the U.S. elections, what do you think the United States can learn from Taiwanese elections? Leslie.
All right, so I'm going to go first, and mine is participation. Karis Templeman said on our live stream during the Taiwanese election in January, he said that he witnessed an old lady at a polling station correct, one of the vote counters, and he was just like, that is democracy in motion, that is beautiful. And I was just thinking that is something that I think I don't appreciate enough.
Yes, that's true. So everybody can watch the vote being counted.
That's right.
Anybody, which is amazing. Natalie.
And I'd like to wish a very peaceful democratic process. We've had peaceful transfers of power every time. People get rowdy, people get excited, but it has been peaceful in the democratic process.
That's great. Well, you both have serious ones. I have kind of a funny one, but it also begins with P. I would like to get that Taiwanese election pose for American candidates.
That one?
Like this one, or like, what are the other ones?
What are the other ones? They have the hand in
hand.
Oh, no,
there's also this one. There's this one too, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
So maybe we can get the U.S. candidates doing that in a future American election. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this inside look at Taiwan this week. Be sure to connect with us on social media.
Yes, if you liked our show, subscribe and leave a comment below. For Taiwan Insider, I am Natalie Tso.
I'm Leslie Liao.
And I'm Andrew Ryan.